The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Ayo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to a very special live edition of Mania to Mania. I am here. Kevin is here as well. Kevin, welcome to this live edition where we did a live show a few weeks ago, but it was a little bit different to this. But hey, we're trying something else.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. You never know what could happen on live Twitch. I might just say something crazy and I won't be able to take it back. So we'll be on the lookout for that.
I was going to say Mr. Controversy, but I will not say that because it's somebody else that we don't want to even mention. But before we get to Mania, as we allow some people to get into the chat and stuff like that, for those watching live, if you're listening to the podcast version, doesn't relate to any of you. It's just business as usual, but would be pretty silly not to have a brief little discussion about the Royal Rumble this week because it was a pretty damn good show. I'd say it was a pretty great show, to be completely honest with you. I really enjoyed pretty much everything about the Rumble and just that weekend and Worlds Collide and all of that. We talked on Headlock Talk about it, but for those of you who didn't hear that, briefly, Kevin, did you love the Royal Rumble? I guess the weekend that it was.
It was, man, it was such a weird weekend. I know we touched on this during Headlock Talk show, but like you said, not everyone here may have listened to Headlock Talk. It was just a weird weekend, with the passing of Kobe Bryant and all the emotions that came with that. The Rumble felt it was an escape, but it was also like subdued in a way for me. And we were chatting before we went live, and part of the reason why the big moment in the Royal Rumble, which spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Rumble yet, but I think everyone knows what happened. Edge came back, right? And it didn't pop me as, but I said this to you before, it didn't pop me as big as it popped everybody else. Part of that was knowing, I think, in my mind that he was going to be there, but part of it was that I was feeling a little subdued, and it was hard to really get into the Rumble because of what had happened earlier in the day. That said, it was a good show, and it was probably the show we needed as sports fans. It was positive the whole way. You had so many great moments. You had great winners of the matches. Both Rumbles in particular, I thought, made great calls with the winners. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Charlotte Flair, how could she win?" But she's someone that could literally win at any time, and it would make sense. She's just that good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you completely.
Overall, I thought it was a good show. And Worlds Collide was really good too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. There's not much to even say about it because everything delivered. That cruiserweight match, chef's kiss. And I love the main event, but the cruiserweights really stole the show for me. The main event was great, though. I thought it was a really, really well put together match, considering what happened with Alexander Wolf having to leave early. Working around that is I think working around injury is probably the toughest thing wrestlers have to do, because you have to be smart about it, as well as come on. You have to basically call the match on the fly.
Yeah,
which I have so much respect for wrestlers that could do that, and they did it perfectly. It made Walter look like this badass, like he is, but it made the Undisputed Era also it made everybody look really good, which is the net goal of the match, I think.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I enjoyed the weekend, obviously. Edge is the first thing that's going to come to everybody's mind. Mighty Molly comes to my mind first, but you can all fuck off. Uh, just a good weekend. It was just the Rumbles delivered, and that's all that really matters to me on that weekend. So, and two really different Rumbles. We didn't get the same Rumble twice. They were very different Rumbles. We had cool moments, cool people coming back. Something that kind of fell under the radar that, because of the magnitude of the weekend, that I want to talk about before we get to Mania is Naomi's return. She got a nice big reaction. She come back and she hadn't missed a step. Also, the thing that I noticed most is that she's getting a lot of eyes from outside of the wrestling world, which is not something that wrestling does very often. It's really simple with Naomi to me. She is great for the mass appeal of a casual fan because she's got a cool, high energetic entrance. She's very colorful. She does a lot of flashy moves, and she has character. Naomi to me is like a casual fan's kind of dream, especially for kids and little girls. Like, that would be just an ideal character. That would be the kind of thing that I take away most from anything, is just she's gotten a lot of people being like, I don't watch wrestling. I have no idea who this person is, but look at her just run around and do a bunch of cool moves. You need that, especially in the women's division, because there's a lot of fantastic workers. I'm not saying Naomi's not a fantastic worker, but she's not known for her technical prowess. She's known for her flashiness and her athleticism. She's something different. Yeah. She's something different. So if anything I can take away from that is like Naomi's getting a lot of outside attention, which is what you want in wrestling.
The video of her returning, I believe, I saw this from a secondhand source on Twitter, so it might not be true, but I believe it. And I could certainly check it if I wasn't feeling a little lazy right now. But I think the video of her returning is doing something like 2 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Crazy. That's an absurd number.
She it's not like she's been gone for what, 4 months maybe, if that. Like, it's not like she's been gone for 2 years. Like, she's been gone for a few months. It's pretty cool to see that she has, a spot, and I hope Naomi gets something out of this. I hope there's something in line for Naomi, because she's one that she'll probably go to SmackDown to be with Jimmy Uso, which is fine because she could work with Bayley, and Bayley needs challenges. Naomi's perfect for that spot.
And Naomi could get Bayley over as a heel because everyone loves Naomi.
Yeah, you can't boo Naomi at all.
It's impossible to boo Naomi because she has such a babyface moveset.
Yep.
And she's so like bright and shiny with the colors and the flashing lights and the glow up shoes, and everything about her just screams babyface.
Yeah, in a good way.
She was a bad heel and she was with Team
really
Bad.
I liked her as a heel.
Yeah, she was good at that too. It's just I feel like she's really found herself with the role she's in now. Different
look, different just everything, and just so bright and colorful. And sometimes that's like writing a death sentence in wrestling, because people are like, wow, you're just like that horrible baby face that no one wants to see. But she's like, yeah, it's just good to see. That'd be the takeaway I take from Royal Rumble this year, is Naomi's getting a lot of outside appeal. But on to the task at hand. It is Mania to Mania here today. I guess that was our little wrestling reverb section of this episode. It is Mania to Mania, something different. If you have not gone back and listened to the first two Mania to Manias we did on Ronda Rousey and AJ Lee, I invite you to do so at some point. However, for anyone that doesn't know what Mania to Mania is, we basically just look at anything from one Mania to the other and just decide and just go through the year that was. We've done only people at this stage with Ronda and AJ and just gone through their key moments and matches and milestones. This one's a little different. We're looking at the WWE Tag Team Championships from WrestleMania 2000 to WrestleMania 17. Now, the tag team division in this time, for anyone that wasn't watching, is like, so they were just given the ball and they ran with it a lot. This was like peak tag team wrestling in WWE in the early 2000s. It's just like everything that you want out of a tag division. Obviously, we'll go through all of the title changes and key moments of the year for the tag team championships, but I mean, Kev, before we even start with WrestleMania 2000, looking at the tag division then and now is like night and day different.
Well, one of the things that I noticed when I was going through these matches was that there's a really good mix of established teams, your Edge and Christians, your Hardys, your Dudleys, Too Cools, and then you had a lot of times challenging for the belts. You had those sort of like, I don't want to call them like mishmash teams, but you had teams of established single stars who would team up and go for belts. I think that's necessary to build the division, is to have those types of teams. Just looking off the bat here at Edge and Christian's first title reign after winning at WrestleMania 2000, they defended against Hardcore Holly and Kurt Angle and the Big Show and Rikishi. These teams that like they're single stars, right? But they team together for tag team gold, and that winning those matches, because they're not going to win, obviously. Rarely you're going to see two single stars go over on an established tag team, at least back in the day when tag team wrestling was a bit more prevalent. And I think that's a huge rub for teams like Edge and Christian and the Hardys to go out and to beat these, Kurt Angle-led teams, these Big Show-led teams. I think that's a huge feather in the cap for the established teams. And I think the division back then was just so much more complete.
That's a good word for it. Complete. A little bit more well-rounded. It's a different, I guess it was a different world for wrestling back then as it is to now. But nonetheless, it's not like we aren't getting great matches now. It's just there's a little bit less, what would be the word? Management behind them, maybe? I don't know exactly, but we start at WrestleMania 2000. It is a triangle ladder match, which is like the start of, well, not the start of everything. It was the last piece of the puzzle before TLC, really. But we had Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys in the first ever triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 2000. Kev, I could nearly guarantee that you've watched this match probably multiple times. It probably gets a little bit overlooked with the TLC matches, but we'll get to the TLC matches soon. But this is a pivotal moment. I think this is like, WrestleMania 2000 wasn't a great show. It just wasn't. This was the key standout match from that WrestleMania. It's known as a bad WrestleMania 2000. But what do you remember from this triangle ladder match?
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
Before approximately, I don't know, like 7 hours ago, I had never seen this match.
Really? Wow.
WrestleMania 2000 is one I've never gone back and watched, and it's probably because of the preconceived notion I had that it was bad. And obviously this match was great, and I did watch it today, and I loved it. I think that, and I think you make a great point about it being, and I definitely overlooked it at times because of TLC 1 and 2, which would come later, and which we'll touch on later on in the show. But this was really goddamn good.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian, these three teams just make magic together every time. And the thing I love about this match in comparison to the other two is that it was a bit more, I thought, like, until the tables were introduced, I thought this was really, really smartly worked. I didn't hate I love the tables coming into play, obviously. Tables are awesome. But I thought there was a lot of waiting around. I hope I have the right match, because this is all running together in my head.
Yeah, no, you have the right match. There's a very key table spot at the end and stuff, but there is lots of tables. This is like a TLC match without the name, I guess. It was preluding to what was coming.
Yeah, basically, this put the wheels in place. But I thought this was really smartly worked. I thought there were a lot of great spots, but I also thought there was good psychology in there. With some of the things. You have your Edge and Christian working smarter, necessarily not harder all the time. I love that. I think that's so smart. And just the spots came and came and came, but they never felt like over the top or like overdone, in my opinion.
Maybe it was because they were kind of, it's different to set the bar than raise the bar. And I think at this point they were setting
Yeah.
it, and they were like, where can we really go with this? It's once they get this kind of laying the groundwork for everything that kind of comes because of it, and then, you know, how do you get bigger and bigger and bigger? That's when the stuff started to get way more wild. But I've watched this match many times. But Edge and Christian did win this match, of course, at WrestleMania 2000. Now, you mentioned some of the title defenses during their reign. But when was the next title change?
Okay, so after a pretty impressive run of defenses from April 2nd, 2000, when the Christian and Edge won the belts, they dropped them the next month. They defended the belts 13. Well, I guess it would be 12 times in a month on TV too, not counting house shows. Because if I were to count house shows, that number would go through the roof.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
They were literally defending the belts on every show.
That's how the Attitude Era worked, though. There was a lot of title defenses from, if you go back and watch, like, you got to remember they've got Raw, SmackDown, Heat, and there's 2 pay-per-views in here.
Yeah, there's Backlash 2000 and Insurrection 2000.
Yeah.
It's crazy to just think that they're defending the belts literally almost every night. But the next title change came on an episode of Raw on May 29th in British Columbia, Canada. Now Edge and Christian are Canadians, but they're not from British Columbia.
No.
And they ran down the province, and they ran down, I guess, the province's favorite son at the time, Joe C. the Rapper, who of course, in true Attitude Era fashion, would make his presence known to help Too Cool, Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty 2 Hotty win the tag team championships from Christian and Edge on Raw. Rikishi was also there. I watched this match today.
That sounded funny. The way you said Rikishi, he was also there.
Yeah, well, you know, who cares about Rikishi when you have Joe C? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I have no clue who this guy is. But, you know, Edge and Christian, they made their bed. They had a lie in it. They dissed the kid, or the rapper, and he came out and hit Christian in the nuts with a hockey stick. So Canada.
How Canadian.
And the Too Cool won the belts, and it was a cool little moment. It was a short match, as Attitude Era matches typically went.
Yes.
One thing I noticed throughout this month-long reign they had, is that the longest defense they had, not counting actually winning the belts, was 12 minutes at Insurrection, which is, you know, not a bad match, but like the majority of them are like 3-4 minute long defenses, and that's like not hardly enough time to tell a story. So
yeah, no, it's not. Too Cool did win over Edge and Christian. In like the actual time of this match was 3 minutes and 32 seconds, by the way. So, I mean, if title matches were going that short now, I'm pretty
people
sure
would
that
riot.
Yeah, people would riot. So
and you know what though? While we're on the subject, I think that, and this was a big sticking point when Brock Lesnar beat Kofi for the WWE title, that 12-second match. I don't hate those. I think it makes the element of surprise a lot more. It brings it to the front, because the point I tried to make with Kofi and Brock is that it wasn't Brock dominating Kofi. It was Brock catching Kofi by surprise. That I don't mind like a 2-3 minute title match if it's a title change. You know, I don't mind a quick roll up for a quick win. I think like 3 or 4 minute defenses are, you know, if you do them too much, you're gonna lose people's interest. But every so often, sprinkle a short match in there, sprinkle a quick roll up in there for a title win, like in 2-3 minutes. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can see why you like it and stuff like that. Back to this, I am looking at all of these title defenses in here before we get to actual title change. Most of the losses, I should say, for Too Cool are by DQ, so they don't lose their championship.
Yeah, that's a theme too. That was, and obviously Edge and Christian being heels. Edge and Christian lost by DQ a lot. Just hold on to the championships the way heels do.
Yeah, and so the thing that's sticking out to me the most, which will probably stick out to you the most, is something that I've never even known. about the this title reign for Too Cool. They actually defended it in Puerto Rico.
I did not know that. I made a mental note of that. That's so cool, isn't it? They teamed up with IWA Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And they defended the belts. That doesn't have a timestamp on it. I imagine it's not on the network. I didn't go looking.
No, I didn't look either.
But yeah, they beat Christian and Edge. They defended the belts against Christian and Edge in Puerto Rico, which is just a nice little on June 16th, 2000, which is just a nice little note.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Well, at WWF at the time, King of the Ring 2000, it was a 4 corners elimination match for the World Tag Team Championships. The Too Cool did lose on the 25th of June 2000 to Edge and Christian, of course. They defeated Too Cool, the Hardy Boys, and TNA, Test and Albert. So Christian and Edge with yet another reign as tag team champions. I went back and watched this match, and the actual timestamp is 14 minutes and 11 seconds. It felt a little bit faster than that, but you could see the tag team division was clicking at this point.
I mean, just look at the talent you had in this match. You had Christian and Edge, you had the champs Too Cool, you had the Hardy Boys, and you had TNA, another prominently rising tag team at the time, Albert and Tess with this was I didn't hate this match, not at all. 4 corner style matches are hit and miss, but and ladies and gentlemen, if you are unfamiliar with the work of Christian and Edge, their names, the Hardys' names, the Dudleys' names, they're gonna come up a lot. What intrigues me is the teams that you don't see all the time. We'll touch on that more as the reigns go on. Yeah. But like to see TNA and Too Cool mixing it up with the Hardys and the Christian and Edge, who I think are perceived to be above the rest of the tag team division.
Yeah, definitely. To
see them mixing it up with some teams that and Too Cool got such a huge pop when they won the belts. I wanted to point that out. They got such a ridiculously big pop for winning the belts. Attitude Era crowds are something different.
Yeah, they really were. Something else I noticed about Attitude Era is like the amount of title, like not even just title defenses. There's a lot of title changes.
Oh yeah,
you don't see that as much as you do. Like you see it way more than you do now. Well, maybe I'm just because we're in it. It's a little bit different, but just going through it, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of TV title defenses, and there's just like it seems to be there on every pay-per-view. They're consistent. But just going through some of these names of these defenses, this is the second reign in this year of Christian and Edge already, and it's only June. So
yeah, especially in the latter half of the year, after SummerSlam, you start to see title changes like every friggin' week.
Yeah, going back through this is fucking gem.
I love it. I love it. I love seeing teams rack up title wins. To me, that's always been more important than length of reign. I love multiple reigns.
That's fair. That is really, really fair. Some of the reigns that some of the defenses I should say for Christian and Edge included Kane and the Undertaker. We got the Acolytes in there. We've got the Hardys, the Dudleys, of course. They had some really like short matches. Like you look at this, like the first title defense was against Kane and the Undertaker. They lost by DQ in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. We had a 3-way dance with the Dudleys and the Hardys that went for 4 minutes and 13 seconds on an episode of Raw.
Now that right there, you have these 3 teams that make magic. Maybe give them. Obviously, you don't want to give too much away on TV when you have pay-per-views coming up. They had SummerSlam was just around the corner. But give the people a little more than 4 minutes. Give the people of Austin, Texas what they paid for.
I mean, yeah, like, unless I didn't go back and watch that match, but maybe it ended in some kind of oh no, because Edge and Christian won. Well, there's no real DQs and a 3-way dance, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way,
just like
I missed the term 3-way dance. Let's get back to that.
It's a good term. I love calling something the 3. They brought it back for One Night Stand 05. I forget who was in the 3-way dance, but I just love hearing it. It is a fun term. I like it a lot more than triple threat.
3-way dance just sounds like, here we go. Like, let's do this. But the main
It sounds like something you hear at a bar, like, oh, we're having a three-way dance outside in the parking lot.
the main title defense before the change is of course SummerSlam 2000. TLC number 1, first time it's ever been done. The Dudleys, the Hardys, Christian and Edge all brought their favorite weapons, tables, ladders, and chairs, and just created magic. Like seeing this, obviously I can't remember the actual time watching this live, but I could just imagine being like, how do you do anything more than this? Because if you just watch this match for this match, it's insane. Like the stuff they do in this match is insane. It goes for 18 minutes and 38 seconds. It was a complete train wreck in the best way possible, but first tables, ladders, and chairs match. You probably watched the second one more, but
yeah,
you've definitely watched TLC one.
I swear I've seen this one before. I did not know that they were in North Carolina at the time. I had watched this previously.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina. The Hardy Boys are from Cameron, which I'm not sure where that is in comparison, but it can't be too far. Obviously, the Hardys are going to be North Carolina crowd favorites. And on one hand, champs don't win in their hometown. On the other hand, I feel like that would have been the perfect time to put the belts on the Hardys.
Yes and no. I mean, it's wrestling. That's how I always describe it. You don't win in your hometown,
I mean,
usually.
It is what it is. I mean, obviously it's not like they would go too long without winning the belts, with which we'll touch on in just a short second. But this was, I think, the longest reign of the whole period we're covering here. This was a 3-month-long reign.
Yeah, and so now Edge and Christian have won at WrestleMania 2000 in the Triangle Ladder match, and they've won the first ever TLC match. It seems like a lot of stock is on Christian and Edge, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But honestly, it would not matter to me who won that match, because it was just like they all did something that made me just go, wow, because that match is just nuts. But look at the next night on Raw. Well, not the next night, the week after on Raw, so 8 days removed from the pay-per-view. Like, look who they're defending their championships against.
Yeah, they literally went out and beat The Rock and The Undertaker. 8 days after going through hell. You probably wouldn't see a TLC tag match today. You probably wouldn't see the champs defend until the next pay-per-view.
Probably
These guys are going out there 8 days later and taking on two goats. Even in 2000, they were still two of the best superstars you'll ever see, teaming up like that, like The Rock and The Undertaker, and you have Christian and Edge beating them. That's what I mean. Like, what a huge friggin' rub that is for them.
Yeah, huge. The match went for 9 minutes and 54 seconds, which, we've alluded to, that's pretty damn long. For most of these matches, like a lot of them are like 3 or 4 minutes long. So 9 minutes 54 seconds. I would assume that would probably be the main event of that Raw.
Probably. I didn't go back and search. I could literally definitely click on this link here though and probably find out what the main event was.
By the way, we're gonna link this. We're using a database called Cage Match, and it is incredible. It has everything you need to know about wrestling in it. You just click and it shows you everything you need to know. So we know where to go back and watch things. We know what dates. That's how we know timestamps, everything. I'll link I'll link it in the description of this podcast on YouTube, and I'll link it here on Twitch as well. But this site is incredible if you need anything encyclopedia wise for wrestling, because it has literally everything. You can just click on something and it takes you to every one of their stats that you need. It's pretty damn
don't make the mistake of thinking we're just that smart.
Well, you can if you want. Speaking of smart, something smart to do is that go back and watch Unforgiven 2000 and watch the steel cage match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian, because it's nutty, and it's in Philly. I mean, Philly is one of my favorite wrestling cities just to hear as a fan. Philly's always loud, especially we're deep in the Attitude Era at this point. The steel cage match, Hardys and Edge and Christian, I should say. Hardys go over, they win the tag team championships here, but What did you think about this match? Because we've seen ladders, we've seen TLC matches, we've seen tag team ladder matches in the past from these two, but not a steel cage tag team match, which is something we don't get anymore, by the way.
It's incredible. You're right. Oh, damn, you're right.
Yeah, we don't.
I just took the wind out of my sails a little bit. It is just, with all the great matches we get between these teams, it is crazy how this one sort of gets this one gets a little overlooked, I think.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows the highlights of this match. I think everyone's seen the clips. But nutty is like the perfect word to describe it. That's just a great word. These guys just literally don't care about their bodies.
Nope.
They will do whatever it takes to win. They will fling themselves off of whatever is necessary in the name of picking up the win and being the tag team champions. That's how much the tag team championships meant in the year 2000. And you're right. We don't see steel cage tag. We don't see tag team stipulation matches that much anymore, I feel like.
Yeah, we got a ladder match with the New Day and stuff, and we see it in little sprinkles, but there's never any follow-up to it.
Yeah, you won't see it like with these guys where they're putting on stip matches like every month, and it was a different one every time. Like they just ran through, they like spun a wheel. It's like, oh, we're doing a steel cage match in Philly tonight, and it works every time.
Yeah, they actually did defend against Christian and Edge the next night on Raw in Pennsylvania as well. 11 minutes and 12 seconds. And a successful defense, I might add, the very next night on Raw. So, good on you, Matt. Good on you, Jeff. I like the Hardy Boys. Are you a Hardy Boys, Dudleys, or Edge and Christian guy?
Oh, Jesus, that's the toughest question I've ever been asked in my life. Probably the Dudleys, honestly. I think tables are, of the three, of tables, ladders, and chairs, I think tables are my favorite. Bubba Ray's full Nelson bomb, I think, is one move that I absolutely would not take under any circumstances because I feel like my ass would explode.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't know. I love them. I love the Dudleys. Get the tables, the what's up. I think they did everything right. No knock on the Hardys or Edge and Christian. But if I had to pick one, if you're putting me on the spot like you did, gotta go with the Dudleys.
Good, we disagree because I say Edge and Christian.
That's fair.
Because I like to win.
The Hardys are probably last, which sucks for the Hardys because they're really great.
I would go Edge and Christian, Hardys, Dudleys, personally.
Okay.
That's just me. I like to win. Edge and Christian are great heels. They're just idiots. My kind of humor. I'm really down with it.
The 5-second pose stuff is always classic.
Yeah. Always.
When they're smart heels, like they win a lot by DQ. We touched on that before. That's the smartest way to retain your titles, and they were champions so much that's a huge reason why.
Yeah. But the Hardys defend quite a few times. We see such defenses on Raw and Heat. Mean Street Posse, I see.
They beat the Mean Street Posse on Heat. They don't even have a timestamp on the Heat matches.
Baltimore. We got some Anaheim, California with Chaz and D'Lo Brown, the lowdown. Raven and Taz are in there as well. I think what we needed to focus on here is the 22nd of October at No Mercy. There was a match that went for around 11 minutes. The Hardy Boys did lose, but who did they lose to?
They didn't lose to Christian and Edge, that's for sure. They lost to everyone's favorite team, and a team that we're gonna see shortly as well, the Los Conquistadores. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. My Spanish is no bueno.
My Spanish is also poor, so I'm not even going to attempt. We're in Albany, New York, at the Pepsi Arena. Oh man, this I remember. I don't know if it was. I didn't go back and watch this match. This is the only title change that I didn't watch out of all of it because there's so many different matches with them in it. Like, whoever is dressed up as them for that night. But this is the kind of, well, it's not going to say the start of their program because the Hardys and Christian seem to be like indefinitely feuding. In more ways than one, over the years. But, yes, we have new tag team champions. I don't even know what else to say. It's rather
Yeah,
short,
I mean,
the reign.
I love the storyline though. The Edge and Christian getting banned from challenging the Hardy Boys, so they just dressed up like the Conquistadores. And there was, I don't know if you remember this, there was like that great thing on when after they won a tag team battle royal on SmackDown to get the shot against the Hardys. There was this great little clip of Edge and Christian congratulating the Conquistadores, obviously two different people dressed up as them.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, look at this. Like, we're shaking their hands. There's no way we could be them. It was just the cherry on top of this whole story.
Yeah, they're great. What a great time. But I mean, it's a little short-lived. just a little. There is a title change the very next night on Raw. Who won it this time?
You know, it's just so silly. But in a 2-on-1 handicap match, Los Conquistadores won the belts again. They won the belts that I guess they never lost by defeating Edge after they had taken out Christian and put him through a table in the back. They beat Edge in 2 minutes and then revealed themselves to be Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Hartford, Connecticut got that beautiful moment. Yes, Matt and Jeff are the new tag team champions. They defeated Edge. I believe this is the only 2-on-1 handicap match in this year at least for the tag team championships. So October's a strange month for the tag team titles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then like 2 weeks later, the belts will change again.
Now,
oh my God!
Now
We're
this time, the Right to Censor have defeated the Hardy Boys to get the championships in Houston, Texas, in around 5 minutes, on the 6th of November 2000. Man, the Right to Censor. Everyone knows how much I love that theme music for the Right to Censor. Kevin, you know how much I love that theme music for the Right to Censor, don't you?
Yeah, you know how much I hate it.
Oh, I think it's just the best. What members of the Right to Censor won here?
It was Bull Buchanan and the Good Father. That's so stupid.
Oh, really? Is it stupid? I don't think it's stupid. Oh, yes. Give me that beat. Give me that beat.
I just can't believe that they won the belt. I could believe it because they're a good heel faction. I just can't believe like that music is good.
Hit me up with that whip and that nay to the Right to Censor theme. That is it. Yeah, they won. Sign me up for some Good Father and some Right to Censor Ivory. I'm here. Yeah, and November in Houston, Texas. Can you really ask for anything more? Their reign
you
was...
could ask for more. You could ask for a month-long title reign from the Right to Censor. This must have seemed at the time like a reign that was built for a day or a week.
Oh, it wasn't. You are wrong. It went for a month and 4 days to be correct. So you back off.
And they beat teams like they beat the Hardys for the belts. They beat the Dudleys on SmackDown the next night. Like literally the next night.
Yeah.
They beat Too Cool on Heat. They beat the Hardys again twice.
They also had a 6-person tag team match on the 13th of November. A winner-take-all kind of situation, I guess. World Tag Team Championships and the Women's Championship leader in the Hardys. Ivory.
Ivory Bull and the Good Father, and as heels do, Right to Censor won by DQ, they lost by DQ.
They lost by DQ. We had, Right to Censor, Too Cool. We had Right to Censor defeating K-Quick and the Road Dogg. Hello.
That's also what I love about looking back through these things, is that some of the teams are just preposterous.
Yeah, they're crazy.
The Road Dogg. And then they come into play later on. K-Quick and the Road Dogg. They'd be in the match.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. Armageddon 2000. Birmingham, Alabama, by the way. Do we go to Birmingham anymore for TV?
I don't
not
believe
pay-per-views.
So. A lot of these crowds we don't go. Well, a lot of these places some of them, like, I'm looking at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They went for Heat. They don't go to Fort Lauderdale anymore.
If they do it just for other live events, or like sometimes I'm sure they'll do TV from there, but certainly not pay-per-views by any stretch of the word. They would be doing.
They had the staple towns. They did the Rebellion pay-per-view in England. They did, East Rutherford, New Jersey is pretty common still. It's where they've been up the road from there plenty of times at the Izon Center.
Yeah.
Birmingham, Alabama, though, for a pay-per-view is an odd call.
The Jefferson Civic Center. I always remember weird, like, arena names and towns. I don't know why. But there was a four-way dance. Hey, look at that. Four-way dance. See, let's call it more of that. Four-way dance, I believe, is different to a four-way tag team match. Isn't four-way dance first pinfall wins, but a four-way tag team match is... Or maybe four-way dance is...
Really know, honestly.
I think four-way dance... I think the actual technical rule is a four-way dance is 4 people are in the ring at once, so each member of a team, and a four-way tag team match is... It's one-on-one, which I don't like as much, because why would you tag out to another team? Because then you can't...
I hate those. Those are like the modern rules where I don't like those.
And I think four-way dance is first pinfall wins. I think. I could be wrong. However, there is 4 teams in this match. K-Quick and the Road Dogg, the Dudley Boys, and Right to Censor and Edge and Christian. Now, this would be yet another reign for Edge and Christian. They won it in 9 minutes and 27 seconds on the 10th of December. So a little Christmas present for them, I guess. Yeah,
but it wouldn't last long.
Yeah, well, that's true. I went back and watched this match. It's nothing special. It's fine. It was cool to see R-Truth in there, to be completely honest with you. I was like, hell yeah, R-Truth.
Isn't it weird to think that R-Truth was with this company in the year 2000?
Yeah.
He didn't come back until... I don't even remember when he...
09?
08 or 07.
Yeah. It's that weird time in wrestling.
Also, this match is never going to be remembered because this is the same card that had the Armageddon Hell in a Cell match.
I'm not a huge fan of that match.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I thought it was too much happening.
That's fair.
There's a lot happening in that match. I like just a good traditional Hell in a Cell match. Hell in a Cell matches, to me, while there is spots in them, they're a little bit more based on, like, hurting somebody. You're using the cell to hurt people. It's not so much like, there's obviously spots in Hell in a Cell matches. I'm not stupid. But, it's more about, like, the brutality you can cause to somebody instead of, like, I'm going to jump off of it. And this, to me, was just, like, there was so much going on. It was, like, there was just a big spot with Rikishi, which I had never loved. I never loved that. I was never, like, a big maniac for that spot. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane.
I never liked Rikishi, so...
Oh, damn.
He's a bitch.
Oh, you were throwing out the big words. However, we'll go to the next title change is a mere week after they won it in this four-way dance. Now,
8 days later.
Yeah, Greenville, South Carolina.
Another place they don't go anymore.
In the Buy-Low Center.
I don't think they go there anymore. But, yeah, Christian and Edge on their... At this point, this is their 4th reign as tag team champs together. And they lose to The Rock and The Undertaker.
I mean, not a bad team to lose to.
Not a bad team to lose to at all. I know I made the point before that the established tag teams usually go over on single stars and it gets the big rub. Not always the case. Clearly, they lost the belts to Rock and Taker. But never fear, they won them back the next night.
Yeah, well, I guess it was taped the next night, and then it would have aired on the Thursday.
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't even remember when SmackDown. I don't remember when SmackDown was airing. What day of the week in 2000? I was 4.
So this was in Charlotte, North Carolina, which they of course still go to now. Christian and Edge defeated The Rock and The Undertaker. 7 minutes and 47 seconds.
With a guest referee.
Who was that guest
referee? Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Kurt Angle in peak Kurt Angle mode. The year 2000, that incredible year that he had.
And this is when around the time when Kurt was sort of aligned with Edge and Christian, I remember, and Rhino, and Rhino makes his presence known at WrestleMania 17.
Yes, he does. Those segments that Edge and Christian and Kurt Angle would have were just iconic, if you will. Very iconic.
Yeah, they were terrific. Kurt, a comedy legend, honestly.
Yeah, really, really, really funny.
You might think he was just a great wrestler, but he was literally one of the funniest people.
Yeah,
he
was so good. And Edge and Christian are so just lame. Especially Christian.
Yeah,
I find Christian's humor so funny because he's so lame, and I just really appreciate that.
Let me ask you a question. Were you an Edge guy or a Christian guy?
Well, if you ask me right now, it's Edge, just because Randy Orton just low-key killed Edge on Raw, so I feel a lot of sympathy towards Edge. But if you're going on the whole scheme of things and their whole career, I don't know. There's certain versions of Christian that I like way more than I like Edge, but I think Edge overall is better.
Edge is better. I just like Christian more.
I like 2004 heel Christian when he was tonguing on with Trish Stratus and had Tyson Tomko. Sign me up for that every day. And he had that waterproof blonde version of the song, the original version of Just Close Your Eyes. It's so much better. He was just that creepy little bastard, and he was great. I just really liked Christian then. But, Christian, when he came back to ECW, was whatever. And then he was just...
Oh, yeah.
Christian versus Randy, that was fun when he was finally world champ, very long overdue.
No, that was one of my favorite feuds of the decade. Was Christian Randy Orton in 2011. That was a great feud. Christian and TNA. I don't know if you were privy to Christian and TNA.
He was fine.
But that was when I first started watching wrestling.
Yeah, that would have been, because it would have been about 07, 06.
Yeah. He was such a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was.
And he brought Tyson Tomko with him.
I love when he had Tyson Tomko. Obviously, he didn't bring Trish, but, I think one of, the best... underrated WrestleMania moments is at WrestleMania 20 when Trish slaps Jericho and then kisses Christian. I think that's a great moment.
That's a great moment.
Yeah, and it's people don't talk about it
Jericho in that moment.
Also, that's also a low-key, really, really fun match, Jericho and Christian. So, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I like probably that era of Christian more than I like Edge, but I probably like Edge overall better because Rated R Edge when he was with Lita, it's hard to beat that because it was just he was a legit sleazebag. So,
oh yeah, he was an absolute douche.
And then when he was winning all the titles and Money in the Banks, and him and Taker, those matches they had on SmackDown in 08, they were great. So yeah, I'm probably more of an Edge guy than a Christian guy, but I find Christian funnier than Edge. Edge is more I'm being funny when Christian's low-key kind of funny. If that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. So just to put in a little bit of context here for the amount of title changes, in 7 days there's been 3 different champions.
Yeah, that's what I meant before when I said after SummerSlam, the championship reigns they were coming fast and furious. Tokyo Drift.
Dun, 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 bomb, bomb. I've never watched Tokyo Drift, but I know the song from it. It's
I don't think I've ever watched Tokyo Drift. It just seemed like the appropriate thing to say at the time.
I don't think I've watched any of those.
I have.
I don't think I have.
I've watched bits and pieces of them. The first one I ever saw was Furious 7, where the last one with Paul Walker before he passed. And I had never seen any of them. I didn't know what to expect, and damn it if I didn't love the movie and get really emotional at the very end.
Well, you probably would, yeah. I mean,
it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Without you, my friend.
Who's in that song? Charlie Puth.
Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz Khalifa. We them boys. Okay.
Last thing Wiz Khalifa did, in my opinion.
on to the task at hand. The Rock, Edge and Christian are now the champions again. However, they would lose them in a very, very, well, not that, about a month later. Yeah, a month later. The first tag team title change of the year in 2001.
At the Rumble.
Royal Rumble 2001, which is known as a great Royal Rumble pay-per-view, leading into what is, I guess, widely known as the greatest WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 17.
I would say so.
We're at the end of the Attitude Era, in my opinion. Like, this is the
for
last
me,
couple
for
of
me,
months.
the Attitude Era ends with WCW versus WWF. That for me is always when the Attitude Era ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone that's I don't know why I started singing. Everyone that's in the chat that's been chatting away, I have been replying via text just for podcast reasons. But hello to everybody in the chat, Conrad, and everyone else that's here. I hope you're enjoying this. If you're just popping in, we're getting towards the end of Mania to Mania here. But Kev, Royal Rumble 2001, the Dudleys actually won the tag team championships over Christian and Edge in around 10 minutes. We're in New Orleans, in Louisiana. Now, this is the first reign of the Dudleys for this. We haven't had a Dudley Boys reign yet, had we? Maybe? Did we?
It feels like I'm pretty sure they hadn't reigned since WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah, when they lost it to.
When they lost the belt.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've won, and a lot of the times, I don't want to say they disappeared for some of the year, and I don't know, I'm sure there was a reason, but I feel like they were noticeably not part of the title picture at times where you think they would have been.
Yeah.
Throughout like the latter half of 2000. Obviously they were at SummerSlam, but then you had like, you know, the Right to Censor guys, you had Edge and Christian winning the belts, Taker and Rock, the Hardys some more. Like, you had a bunch of Hardys and Edge and Christian 2-on-2 matches. But it felt like the Dudleys were missing a little bit, so it's good to see them get back on the horse and win the belts.
Yeah, and just for anyone that needs to know what went on at Royal Rumble 2001, it is the year that Austin won his third Rumble.
Yes.
And
97, 98, 2001.
Not only that, we also had a cage match, a ladder match, I should say. One of my favorite ladder matches of all time. I think it gets a little bit pushed under the rug with who's in it, but Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit have a fantastic ladder match. A very it was obviously it's a ladder match, so it's going to have a few spots in it, but very technical based. Well, not surprisingly enough with who's in it, but a very technical based ladder match. Something very different, especially in that time where everything was moving at a very fast pace because of the time we're in. But I mean, that match alone, I'm looking at the timestamp now, is 18 minutes and 43 seconds. Like, that is crazy for a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship to go for nearly 20 minutes. Just Jericho, I think Chris Benoit, all stuff aside, was probably the best pure wrestler that I had ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anyone better than him on an in-ring technical standpoint. Just very good at wrestling. And, of course, Chris Jericho, very good as well. And whenever those two worked, you can go back and watch any of their matches, and you can nearly pinpoint any of their matches that are just great because they just worked really well together. Chris Benoit did not have bad matches. Jericho really didn't either. But, I mean, yeah, Chris Benoit was fantastic. And that ladder match was fantastic. So, so that was context of that pay-per-view. But the Dudleys did win here. And we're kind of leading into some other things now. The Dudleys kind of had a fair few defenses in this reign. What were some of the defenses? I noticed a tables match here, but man, they defended quite a lot.
Yeah, you know, they beat a couple of different teams too. They beat Kane and The Undertaker on an episode of Raw in February. They got teams like Lowdown, Chaz and D'Lo Brown, Kai and Ty. They beat the Hardys in a tables match on SmackDown. They beat Christian and Edge and Kane and The Undertaker in a triple threat tables match at No Way Out 2001. That's a big win for the Dudley Boys.
Yeah,
they also
in Vegas, by the way. I love a nice Vegas crowd.
They lost once or twice by DQ, as teams do. They beat Haku and Rikishi. Haku probably wasn't with the WWF for very long, if I'm thinking correctly.
Uh,
At least not at this point.
no, not at this
I
point.
remember Haku was in the 1990 Rumble.
I couldn't tell you.
We're gonna find out.
I could not tell you, but
He was in the. All right, Haku was in WWF from 86 to 92. Then was in the WWF from 2001 to 2002. He entered in the Rumble as a surprise entrant.
right.
I needed to know.
Yeah, I could tell that you really needed to know that.
I needed to know. I like Haku. I like what he's doing now. Sort of like every now and then popping up with the Bullet Club over in Japan. He's doing some cool shit. Haku and Rikishi's a cool team, even though I don't like Rikishi.
This is like the hate on Rikishi power hour from you.
Yeah, Rikishi's a young bitch.
Damn. Title change though didn't happen so we had their title win on the 21st of January. Title change didn't happen until the 5th of March.
Yeah, and this is their second consecutive week defending the belt. Actually, technically their second consecutive week. They defended them at No Way Out, then the next night on Raw, and then a week later on Raw, and they lost to the Hardy Boys.
5 minutes and 36 seconds. I just am like gasping at like the
Give them 20 minutes, bro.
Give them some more time, yo. However, the Hardys win here. That's kind of lit. I like the Hardys.
Yeah, I mean, and the Hardys are back in the pick. The Hardys are back in the pick. This is their fourth reign. They held the belts for 2 weeks.
Yup. So they won them in Washington.
Defended them the next night on SmackDown taping. Beat Just Incredible and X-Pac. What a team. And then guess who they lost the titles to?
Now, for anyone in the chat that's still here, who do you reckon would have won the tag team championships from the Hardys? It's definitely people we
March
talked about before.
19th, 01. I was 4 years old.
In the Pepsi Arena again. We're back in Albany.
Back in Albany.
I feel like I've said Pepsi Arena before, unless I just thought it. Maybe I didn't say it out loud.
You said it on the show, definitely.
Yeah, I
and
said it.
You might be thinking of the Pepsi Center in Denver, which they do go to a lot.
Yeah. Denver, Colorado. I don't know why, but the first person I think of is Eve Torres.
Is she from Denver?
She is from Denver. But she's billed from Los Angeles, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I bet. When I think of Denver, I think of the one Raw where they got pushed out of the Pepsi Center at the last second. So they went to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and they had that 5-on-5 match where the good guys were dressed up as Lakers and the bad guys were dressed up as Denver Nuggets.
Huh. Okay, so I don't know sports in America too well, but there is a team in like the NFL that's like the Denver Broncos or something like that.
That is correct, the Denver Broncos.
Look at me, the little sport nut I am. Oh man, I'm crazy.
Where do you come to know of them?
The Simpsons, I think.
Okay,
maybe even wrestling. That's how I know most NBA teams.
Yeah, that's true. You can learn a lot about sports by listening to Heel's rundown sports teams.
Yeah, because it doesn't relate to me, but I'm like, as a kid hearing that, I'm like, what the hell is that? Then you look it up, and then it's in succession, you're just hearing this every week, and you're like, okay, I know that's either an NFL team or it's an NBA team. And it's like American, and that's all I know about it.
Yeah, you're just like, well, they're talking about a sports team from America, and the people are unhappy.
Yeah, and they do it when they do it here. When they come here, they run down AFL or they run down cricket. I remember one year I went to a live event in Melbourne, and Wade Barrett was running down cricket, like our Australian cricket team, because they just lost to England, and he was calling us wankers, and we were chanting wanker at him. It was really lit. R-Truth came out and beat him up.
Wow.
I believe he was even King Barrett at that point.
Oh, so like 2000 and
15, 14,
yeah,
roughly.
yeah.
Yeah, but he was running down the Australian cricket team because they had just lost and we were going nuts. I was like, I don't watch cricket, but don't you dare say that. I was like, I didn't even know they lost, but don't you dare. Insert
You
town
learn
here.
something new every day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't, yeah. Anyway, title change here to go back to what we're saying. In the Pepsi Arena, Christian and Edge, shock and awe, they have defeated the Hardys to win the Tag Team Championships for the 45th time.
Yeah, the 45th time. I'm delirious. It is their 6th reign. I feel like they've all come in the last 12 months.
Now, the next, we have, wait a minute. My page isn't loading. Where are we at now? Uh-oh.
Expose him.
Where are we at, Kev?
We're on March 19th, where a lot of shit happened.
Yeah. A lot of shit happened.
Christian Edge beat the Hardy Boys. This is where Cage Match loses me, so I'm going to Wikipedia quick. Because then they have that the Dudleys beat Christian and Edge, and Christian and Edge beat the Hardys. Something doesn't add up there. So we're going to Wikipedia.
You go to Wikipedia while I stall. I'll talk to if anyone is in the chat still, or if anyone's listening to this on YouTube or the podcast version of this show. Please continue to rate us 5 stars on iTunes because it does really, 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 really help. Not only that, like and subscribe to all of that stuff on my YouTube because numbers are going really well for my Alicia Atoot interview. It was a lot of fun talking to her, so continue to listen to that too. But I think Kevin, he sighed, so I heard him in his brain go, I found it.
I did. This is out of order. So what had happened was the Christian and Edge beat the Hardys.
Yeah.
Then later that night, dropped the belts to the Dudleys.
Right. This is all happening in the Pepsi Arena, guys, by the way.
This is all happening in the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York.
Pepsi, hit us up.
Rise War number 408 was an absolute barn burner. What else happened on this show?
Oh, yeah, I could just click.
The hardcore title changed hands.
Yeah, I'm reading it now.
Yeah. Stevie Richards and Taz fought to a no contest. That must have been something.
Damn.
And Benoit, Angle, and Regal beat Jericho and The Rock. That sounds like kind of fun.
Yeah, well, we're in...
Wait, there were 2 no contests and 3 title changes on one show. What a weird show.
Holy fuck. 2001 is a crazy time. Crazy time. Okay, so where are we at with the tag team championships now? Who the fuck has the tag team titles?
Now. The Dudleys are walking out of the Pepsi Arena with a bunch of Pepsi and also with the World Tag Team titles.
Right.
And they would drop them 2 weeks later, and this is where it all begins again. We're at WrestleMania 17.
WrestleMania 17. A little match in Houston, Texas. WrestleMania 17. Everyone can start, if anyone's in the chat still, start going crazy about WrestleMania 17. Get it out of your system because it is just known as the greatest WrestleMania of all time. It's pretty much the only thing the internet can come to an agreement on for the most part. Is that it's just known as the best. Obviously.
I mean, just so much.
Everything on that show is fantastic. Every single thing on that show is fantastic, including that battle royal. It's a great battle royal. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, the gimmick battle royal, terrific.
Yeah, it's so
you had
good.
Angle over Benoit. You had Guerrero defeats Test. You had Jericho defeats Regal. You had obviously this match we're about to talk to at length. You had Undertaker and Triple H in a very underrated match, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, the cherry on top, Stone Cold and The Rock, which is probably one of the best WrestleMania main events you'll ever see.
Yeah, with a moment that is so, it makes people so conflicted. That
I know.
moment.
It makes me sick. I don't know what to think about it. And it's been 20 years.
Okay, before we talk about TLC 2, because we will talk about it because it's fantastic, do you think it was the right move to have Austin go to the dark side and align with Darth Vader himself, Mr. McMahon?
I think that the moment itself was perfect. I think that as much as as a fan of wrestling and as a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin, you don't want to see him do that. You don't want to see him turn like that. But I thought the moment was perfect. I thought that was maybe the best way you'll ever cap off a WrestleMania. WrestleMania it gets this reputation as an event that ends on happy endings. We've seen it a lot recently. We've seen Daniel Bryan. We've seen Becky Lynch. We've seen a lot of happy endings to WrestleMania. This was the example of them saying, you know what? Screw the fans. We're gonna end it the best way possible. We're not gonna make them happy. We're gonna make them pissed.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know. There's just a lot. There's just it's just, I don't know. I like heel Austin, and I liked when he was comedic heel Austin when he was playing the guitar and I like Alliance Austin, but who knows? It's always going to be a thing that's debated on whether it was the right move. I think even Austin said himself, he was he wanted to do this, but he doesn't know if it was necessarily the right thing to do. He just liked being a heel, and it was something different. But hey, it's a moment that'll go down in history. You'll never forget that moment. You'll never forget WrestleMania 17. It's the definitive end to the Attitude Era for me. I think it is for a lot of people. I think it's known as that was the end of the Attitude Era, and then we go into the next era. But task at hand is of course TLC 2, the best. Well, it's not my favorite TLC of the numbered, the first 4. I like number 4 the most. I absolutely love TLC 4, the one on Raw for Raw Roulette. You remember that one, don't you?
Okay. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. My God, I love that TLC match because it was a little bit different. The one on SmackDown, TLC 3, when they had Jericho and Benoit in it as well. I thought that was my least favorite of the 4, probably. Of those 4 main tag team.
I've seen 3 and 4. But they're not matches I would go back and rewatch religiously like I do with 1. I'm going to do with 1 and 2. I mean, I watched TLC 2 at WrestleMania X7 before the Rumble the other night because the people I was watching with wanted to watch that match because it's and they're not wrestling fans, but it's a match that everyone knows.
Yeah. TLC 2 though I think is probably the best TLC match. It's just so crazy. They literally got to a point where you can't top that, and they didn't try to top that with 3 and 4. They were different. TLC 2, that, I mean, you can't really I'll never ever forget the image of Edge spearing Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, it has one of the most iconic images in wrestling.
Yeah, that call by JR. And that had so much room for error. If Jeff was just a little bit more, could be dead. You know what I mean? He could be easily paralyzed from that. So timing on that, a spot like that will probably never ever ever happen again. At least in a WWE world, just because it's way too fucking dangerous. But
oh my God, you had great run-ins during this match with Lita and Rhino and little Spike Dudley. Everyone had a third member in their back pocket.
And my favorite commentator of all time commentated this match, Paul Heyman. Heyman is a fantastic commentator.
Heyman and JR make this WrestleMania
Love their commentary. Love
fucking
it.
Good.
Lita comes out, nails Spike Dudley in the head with a chair. Spike is dead on that one. He is DED dead on that one. Lita takes a 3D. She takes off her top because always remember Heyman screaming, "Take it off, take it all off." And then she gets 3D through a table, of course, because it's Lita. Lita is the only, at that point, woman to ever appear in a TLC match until 2018. That's crazy.
My favorite TLC match of all time.
Wait, are you talking about... Wait, what did you say? I completely missed what you said.
I said, because you mentioned the first time since 2000 that Lita was in the first TLC match, and it wouldn't happen again until 2018,
right.
The first woman to appear in a TLC match. And I just made the comment that the 2018 Becky Charlotte TLC match is my favorite TLC match of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
I'm a mark, man.
No, that's fair. I understand it. But yeah, Lita takes a 3D. Spike gets drilled in the head by poor Spike. Spike was on the bump this week. Anyone that watches the bump, I think it's just...
Was he really?
Point. He was. Bubba Ray Dudley was on the bump in studio, and they surprised him with Spike on like a video message. And
cool.
Bubba was like really happy to like hear from him and stuff like that. And he said he's literally the toughest person he's ever worked with in wrestling. So the amount of times people beat the crap out of him in the ring because he would just be like, no, like, I want to make you look like a star. He said he would take so much punishment and stuff like that. And he was just like, he literally is the toughest person I've ever met. And I'm like, that's so cool. But Spike got nailed in the head. 3D to Lita. Rhino was in there. Well, he did a beautiful gore to Matt Hardy. I could nearly probably lay out this match pretty easily. I've watched this match a lot. If I have people that don't watch wrestling and they want to watch wrestling, this is in there on that first couple of matches that I'll show them, because it's just, how can you look away from this? It's a train wreck.
In the best possible way, it's a car crash.
It's a fantastic match that should never, ever happen again in this capacity.
Yeah, it takes years off the lives of the competitors involved.
I mean, Edge...
But damn, was it good.
All of these people, in some way, shape, or form, will all end up in the Hall of Fame. And not only that, they all ended up as big stars. All of them did in their own way. Especially like Edge, Jeff, Matt, Christian, and the Dudleys, Bubba especially. But they all of them are just top class athletes, and this is just the time where they had set the bar with the triangle ladder match back at WrestleMania 2000, then at SummerSlam with TLC 1, and then this one just kind of they had the blueprint.
Culmination of everything. And the thing I loved about the trio of matches we got to see from these three in this period of time is that they were all different.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to go out and like you have the triangle ladder match, to do something different the next time out, and then to do something different from those first two the third time out? That's so hard.
So hard to do. But just a nutty match. That spot with Matt and Bubba going through those 4 tables is nuts. Jeff Hardy jumping off that ladder, nuts. The spear, nuts. And then, not only that, it's all 3 of those big matches that we talk about, all won by Edge and Christian. All won by them.
In a purely kayfabe perspective, they have to be the best tag team of the 3, right? They won the 3 biggest matches they had, in addition to having, in this short span of time, the most reigns.
And the TLC 3, if you look at a few months down the line on SmackDown, none of those 3 teams won. It was Benoit and Jericho that won TLC 3. So, I don't know. And then TLC 4 was won by Kane on his own. So, Edge and Christian in those 3 teams are unbeaten by those other 2 in that capacity, which is weird. But yeah, Edge and Christian won. Fantastic match. It'll always go down as it'll always be in people's favorite matches. I think it's one of them. It's like in there. It's like at some point it comes up in every conversation. I'm pretty sure it's just because it's a spectacle. It's so crazy, and so many things happen in that match where you're just like, no, thank you. I would not want to be them at all. And just from everything from it's WrestleMania, it feels huge. I believe that was the first time WrestleMania had been in a stadium in a while, like in 10 years or so. since WrestleMania had been in like a stadium. They were in arenas the few previous years. So WrestleMania was back in a stadium in Houston. And man, oh man, just a wonderful, wonderful match. And Mania to Mania, we got the same result in the first Mania to the same result in the second, in a similar kind of match. And the tag team championships really went kind of everywhere, but Edge and Christian were kind of the staples.
Yeah, I think that's the point of this whole thing. The best point we could draw from this is that no matter where the belts go, they went to a lot of different places, Rock and Taker, right to censor. They seemed always to make their way back home, and that was with Edge and Christian.
Yeah, that is really, really. It's just, I wish the tag team division was treated in such way, because it's not like they haven't been given opportunities. They have, but it's like I said at the start, it's just sprinkles. They're not consistent anymore in the terms of like getting opportunities. It's inconsistent. But it's not like there isn't talent. There's probably more talented tag teams now than there was then, if that makes any sense.
I think the tag team division, in terms of pure athletes and things that they're capable of doing, is as good now as it's ever been. It's just the you need the time, you need the love.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's just
Where is the love?
That's a great song.
I know.
I used to love the Black Eyed Peas. Shout out to the Black Eyed Peas.
I liked them before they went like all techno and got weird.
I didn't hate that, but as soon as like they started bringing out music without Fergie, I was kind of not interested. I was like, well, they're not the Black Eyed Peas to me anymore, even though they were the Black Eyed Peas before Fergie. Let's not go there though. But Where Is the Love is a fantastic song. I still really like the Black Eyed Peas a lot, actually. But on that note, I guess we can end on the Black Eyed Peas. Mania to Mania, another one in the book, something different. We're trying out different things for Mania to Mania. I have a lot of ideas stewing, and it's WrestleMania season, so you'll probably see a couple more of these pop up, because I'm not really saying what yet because it's too far away, but WrestleMania week, for the content that I'm bringing out, buckle yourselves in, everyone, because it's going to be wild. I'm sure you'll see all about that as Mania draws closer. It'll be Mania before we know it. And I don't know. I guess we're starting to get into that time where we go back and watch old Manias, Kevin.
I know. He just did it with the Rumbles now. And don't forget, if we're having an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view somewhere in the middle, we got to watch the old Chamber matches too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on. I believe the next pay-per-view for WWE is a Saudi show, so I can kind of just chill for that. And then Chamber's like a week after, and then
their February booking is so bad.
They don't need two shows, just one show between Rumble and Mania. I'm on the team of that. I don't think there should be a pay-per-view between.
Rumble I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't
just
hate
a
it
nice long.
But they had 2 last year. They're gonna have 2 this year. Oh, they.
I mean, yep. Anyway, guys, thank you for anyone that has joined here in the chat. If you're listening on the podcast version or on YouTube, make sure you do all of the 5 stars reviews, the likes, the subscribes, all of that. Make sure you share this on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that good stuff. We'll be back for a regular episode of Wrestling Reverb next Friday. But in stateside land, I guess it's Thursday night that this comes out, but it's Friday for me, so fuck y'all, it comes out on Friday. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much more to add. Anything you want to plug away, Kev? I don't know if you have anything to plug.
I don't really have anything to plug right now. I haven't really done anything.
Then say something on your brain there. Say something on your brain.
That's not true. I recently was in contact with the owner of a small promotion near my home, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, and I want to get more involved with the independent wrestling scene in Pennsylvania, at least in northeastern Pennsylvania where I live. So I reached out to this guy. I said, hey, anything you need, whether it's work on the website, you need commentary, I'm down to do whatever. he got back in touch with me. He said he'd love to have me aboard. I've been watching some. They do a weekly YouTube show, so I've been getting caught up on the wrestlers, who's champ, who shows up. The last show I watched had the Blue Meanie on it. They get like Casey Navarro, who appeared in Impact recently. They've got some really good talent, and it's Hazleton in Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Do you, by any chance, do you live near Scranton?
Yeah, dude, I live like 20 minutes from Scranton.
Holy fucking shit. That is amazing. I'm still in the office, everybody.
Do you want to know a secret?
As long as it's not office spoilers.
It might damage your perspective. No, this happened in like the first season, I think.
Oh, okay, that's fine
But
then.
it might damage your perspective of The Office. There's no Chili's in Scranton.
That's fine to me. There's no such thing as Chili's in Australia, so can't give a fuck.
I know, but that's just inaccurate. The show is inaccurate.
Yeah, that's true. But it's a television.
But now every
show.
time people like when I went to school in New York, so I'm like 2-3 hours away from my home, and everyone's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I used to just say Scranton because it's the closest city to where I live. And people would always be like, "Oh, you must love The Office," and it made me resent The Office to the point where I didn't watch it for a while.
Yeah, I didn't watch it for ages just because everyone was like, "You love Parks and Rec, you must love The Office." I was like, "No, I fucking don't," because I've never watched it and I'm not going to. And then I caved. I'm glad I've caved though because it's fucking good. I'm about 3 seasons out from finishing, which I'll probably finish by the time Reverb is on next week. Let's be honest.
And one more thing I'd like to plug. Not a plug. Just everyone wish me luck. I'm taking the Jeopardy test in 4 hours.
What is the Jeopardy test?
Are you familiar with Jeopardy?
Yeah, like the show, like the game show.
Well, there's a test to be on the show.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm wishing you luck. All my luck is going to you.
Yes, I'm taking the test at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So 3.5 hours from now.
Damn.
I've taken the call. I took the college test, but I scheduled it for a time, and I had a conflict with a meeting I was running as editor of my newspaper, so I didn't get to concentrate on it. So this will be the first time I'm really like taking the test with my whole mind on it. I'm excited.
Good luck with that.
I'm probably not gonna do good.
I don't know if you just heard that giant fucking thing go past my house then. I don't know if anyone heard that, but I don't know if the mic picked that up, but some giant fucking truck went past my house. So, here's a good note to end on. So, we've had all these fires and that in Australia, obviously.
Yeah.
We're on flood watch now. How exciting. Like, my town is on flood watch. We're meant to get 2 months worth of rain in 48 hours. Fuck. Storms. Ooh. And yeah, so we've gone from fire watch to flood watch. It's a real coronavirus has hit South Australia. It's gone nuts here.
Jesus.
Is coronavirus in America yet? Has it hit America?
I think there's a few confirmed cases in America, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's all come from like China or something. Coronavirus, I don't even know what it technically is. Isn't it just the flu? You can die from it?
No, I think it's got to be different than just the flu.
I don't know. It comes from chickens, I think. I think that's where it all starts from. Chickens. And then somehow it contracted in people. And then people spread it to people.
It don't sound like that. Some duty.
It's just everywhere at the moment. Everywhere's like, coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, everyone's talking about it because it's a scary thing,
Yeah, so that's happening here. So I can't swim. No, I'm sure we'll be fine. But yeah, big storms, big rain. That's what's happening with me. I guess we'll see you next week. You want to say goodbye, Kevin?
Bye, guys.